This is a story about how a little piece of paper
This is what the landlord gave me, this piece of paper.
put this tenant, Fatima Saeed, living 18 years in the same apartment, out on the street.
If I don't leave, and the sheriff will come and kick me out. So I was like, where is the law that protects me?
How tenants across Canada are being slapped with a sworn statement stating the new owner intends to move in. You've got to leave. It's all legal, but some ask, how fair is it in the end? Back to that piece of paper in a moment. First, here's a riddle for you. When is a house your home? Because that's the question at the heart of this controversial practice in rental real estate. You see, new owners of a building are allowed to kick a tenant out if they swear in good faith they or their family members are moving in, making it their home.
I wanted to show you this. What is that?
Problem is, according to community legal worker Mark Culligan, in a growing number of cases, the new owners often don't move in.
Unfortunately, we're seeing more and more disputes from tenants about whether or not these kinds of documents are being issued in good faith. This is a common problem in those places in the country that have rent control, because landlords are incentivized to kick out long-term tenants and to replace them with newer tenants who they can charge a higher rent.
It's very expensive.
So back to Fatima Saeed and that document she received. Last fall, she played by the rules, packed up her belongings and left her apartment to make way for the new owner to move in. But when we recently went to apartment 3 to speak to him, the tenant there told us the new owner, who's actually one of 4 new investors in the property, didn't live there. He wouldn't do an on-camera interview, but a co-investor who also wouldn't go on camera told me the move didn't happen for, quote, personal reasons. None of the other investors moved into the building either.
Same appliances, same fridge, same stuff.
In fact, just days after the foursome took possession, Saeed's old apartment, now freshly painted, was listed on Kijiji to rent for close to $600 more a month. That co-owner I mentioned told me he had to raise the rent to pay his bills, and everything was done in good faith. He also said he didn't know if the other tenants' rents were raised or not. Mark Culligan says all too often tenants are left in the lurch, while the question of good faith gets debated, even during a ban on so-called renovictions. He's calling for stronger legislation in Nova Scotia.
There could be a legitimate reason for someone to re-rent a unit, but they need to prove that, or they should need to prove that. And in fact, in Ontario, if a unit is advertised to rent soon after a tenant is evicted for a landlord to move in, then there would be a presumption that a legal presumption that the landlord has acted in bad faith.
And fines can follow. But that kind of legislation does not exist in Nova Scotia. Fatima Saeed did not appeal her case. She found another, more expensive apartment, and like so many other people, she quite literally moved on.
I could fight, but I need a lawyer. I can't afford it, but I couldn't fight because maybe I will end up in the street while I'm fighting, so I didn't take that risk.
All of this leads Fatima Saeed to wonder if the document she was served was ever worth the paper it was written on. Tom Murphy, CBC News, Halifax.